Nonviolent resistance is the most potent weapon available to oppressed people in their struggle for freedom and justice. I think the aftermath is much greater for everybody involved. The aftermath of violence is bitterness, and you've got to spend another 100 years getting rid of the bitterness created as a result of the violent revolution. Wherein the aftermath of nonviolence is redemption and the possibility of the creation of the beloved community.
And we start Martin Luther King Day. Why we still have it, right? Welcome back.
Before Trump cancels it. And you know what I just realized from listening to the clip? I now understand why everyone always is like, just have Morgan Freeman read everything. He's got a very, Morgan Freeman and Martin Luther King have very eloquent voices. Like I'm hearing the connection there just now.
Yeah.
Is anyone else?
Yeah, I just noticed it myself.
Like, I'm
now
like, oh my God. I'm like, no wonder. Everyone's always like, just talk to me. Just like, they're always asking Morgan Freeman, just speak. Just say whatever. I'll listen to you for hours.
Yeah.
You know?
He can narrate.
It's the same. It's the same. Kind of, not the same. I mean, because they're both individual people, but it's the same eloquence. It's like calming, soothing.
You mean something that we've been missing over the last year?
Something that we've been missing over the last, I'll go ahead and say it, decade? Yeah. It's been a decade since we've been
subjected to this.
I mean, because if we're going to agree with our friends on the opposite side of the aisle, Biden was sleeping. So, I mean, you know, you got to add the sleepy Joe years into it, right? I mean, so we've been missing the eloquence.
Ever since Obama left.
Right, exactly. That's what I was going to say, too. Like, Obama spoke with a certain sort of eloquence.
Like that speech Obama gave as he was leaving office. Do you remember that speech? And just how I was just like, don't leave. Please don't leave us.
I know. Yeah, because I always was like, if I ever ran into him on the street, you know, hilarious because I live in Arizona, but I always like, just be like, just wanted you to know that I miss you. Like, I just miss the normalness.
Can you just tell me it's going to be okay?
Yeah, I know. Remember the time I was jealous of the folks in Chicago when, Obama had to serve on jury duty, and I'm like, how lucky are those motherfuckers that also get to serve with him, you know?
I know.
Like,
could you imagine just...
I would love to be on jury duty with Obama.
Could you imagine just sitting back and during the jury deliberation afterwards? No, give me more thoughts, Mr. Obama.
Or just...
Mr. President.
Or just, I just kind of want to hear you talk, because I just miss that right now. I miss hearing a sane person tell us things.
Yeah.
Who's leading the country. I just miss a sane person in charge of things. That's what I miss right now.
Yeah, and
because we don't have that right now. We definitely don't have a fucking sane person.
Could you imagine, like, today, if you're in Chicago and after all the Bears lost last night, and be like, can you tell me it's going to be all right, Barack, that the Bears lost last night? Just tell me it's going to be okay.
You know what, though, about the Bears? Okay, so the Bears. The Bears had a great season that they have not had in a month of Sundays, right? Like, couldn't we say that about the Bears? Like, they haven't been good in a while. Maybe since like the 80s, huh?
Yeah.
Like when they were doing the Super Bowl shuffle with Refrigerator Perry.
They made the playoffs like 15 years ago or something like that.
Really? Did they?
Yeah.
Okay, well, they made the playoffs, but did they really go very far?
Yeah.
It's not hard on...
Well,
okay.
We're going to have to switch from football, though, other than my Patriots are back. Other than that, you just got back from vacation. How was it?
I don't understand why we had to jump, though,
Because
and just do that.
I have a guest that we're about to call on the phone.
All right. Whatever. Like, I hate that I have no control in this show. This show, by the way, is run like oppression, okay? Women have no say in the matter here. Anyways, my vacation was, I wasn't really planning on talking much about that. It was meh. Meh. Like, I went to the Cayman Islands, and the reason I went to the Cayman Islands was because I wanted to try to go on a trip all by myself. I've done it here in the States, but like an international trip all by myself. And I was like, well, the Cayman Islands have beaches, which I'm interested in, but what are they famous for? Hiding rich people's money. So I'm like, it's gotta be fucking safe over there. And guess what? It fucking is. You fly into the country, so I fly in, and then I get my taxi ride. I'm riding along in my taxi ride, and I'm like, oh, this is a clean motherfucking country. I'm like, it is clean as fuck here.
Where is the Cayman Islands, like, on the map?
It's in the Caribbean. It's like 30 miles, I think, from Jamaica. I can't remember which direction, but they told me this when I was there. They're like, yeah, we're only like 30 miles from Jamaica, which then the cab driver back to the airport, he was originally from Jamaica and said, Jamaica is not good to visit there right now because it's a lot of crime there. Like there's hardly any crime in the Cayman Islands. And I bet you know why. Because, the billionaires be hiding their money there. Like,
do you know whose territory it is?
It's England's.
It's England's territory.
Yeah. So, like, if you're a citizen of England, you're kind of like United States is to like Puerto Rico. Okay, so we don't have to, Puerto Rico is a territory of ours. Yeah. We don't have to have a passport to go there. Same thing with England. If they want to go to the Cayman Islands, they don't need to use their passport to go there. Okay? Yeah. It's like that. It's on that level.
Okay. What was it like with like the locals? Are they aware of what's going on around here? Or were you able to escape and just...
When you get down to like the locals, yes. When you go so I signed up for a food tour because being a person who loves food, I was like, that sounds like fun. So I was on a food tour with two other ladies from the United States. They're from Georgia. And my tour guide, who is also a woman. The tour was fantastic. We just ate food in the beginning, and then the ladies from Georgia started making their political comments. Okay. Started making political comments, and that's where it's like I really had to bite my tongue because the tour guide, who is a Canadian, like what do you call it? Native Canadian, is agreeing with these women, and I'm like, oh dear God. And I'm like, and I had to keep my mouth shut because I'm like, I don't want to start fights here, like I'm on vacation. Like I went to the Cayman Islands to get away from my own country because I was like, I need a break. I need a break because of all the bullshit going on in the U.S., I just need some time away so I can appreciate it. Like everybody always says, like, we're such a great country. So, you need to get away in order to feel like everything's okay. So this is what they started in on. They didn't talk about, and I wasn't going to question about, but they were talking about Minnesota, obviously, because they were talking about Somalian folks, Somalian refugees, Somalian citizens. But they never brought up the fact of Renee Good's murder. They didn't bring that part up, right? So they were kind of like, well, there's all these Somalians in Minnesota. And then the tour guide, the chicks from Georgia weren't even done talking. The tour guide, who is from the Cayman Islands, jumps in and is like, yeah, they try to come here to get citizenship and they can't. They go through here and they go through the United States and their passports are fake. And I'm like, I'm over here, like, in the corner, like, just, I have to sit here and listen to this shit because I'm in restaurants with them, but I'm like, how in the fuck do you even fake a passport? Then they further go on to 80%. 80%. I always love how it's a nice rounded number too, don't you? 80% of illegal aliens, and I'm saying this with my quotation fingers because I don't call them that, but that's what these folks referred to them as. 80% of illegal aliens are in the welfare system and using our tax dollars. And I'm like, and I had all these things that I could have said. Like I could have said, I challenge you right now to go sign up for welfare. Just try it. Try to go sign up for like food stamps and all that. Just see what the computer tells you if you try to sign up for it. See what the regulations
what kind of documentation you need.
Yeah. See what kind of documentation you need. See how much money, or we should say how little money you have to have in your bank account to even qualify.
Which don't you need like identification to get a bank account?
Right.
Okay,
Right. You need that. But I mean, like the qualifications are like to qualify for food stamps. You have to show that you only have $100 in your account. Okay. And forget about all the stuff. Like there's already all these qualifying questions beforehand. You have to prove that you're a United States citizen and all this stuff. Okay. Right. You have to do all that beforehand. That's why it's kind of like, when we always talk about, Bruce Springsteen's song, Born in the USA. You know how we always talk about that and how a lot of Americans don't know what it truly means. Yeah. And then I've always said, this is what you have to tell people. You have to tell people, go sing it at karaoke. Just go sing it at karaoke. Go do that. Go sing it at karaoke. And you will learn that it is not a fucking patriotic song. It's not about just like being born in the United States. It's very much so not at all about that, right?
Well, the first line, born down in a dead man's town, the first thing I got was when I hit the ground.
Right. Yes. Okay. But people don't pay attention to that part. They pay attention to the glorious chorus, which is like, born in the U.S.
But we said that they shouldn't have that. Da, 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 da.
That, right? It sounds very Star Spangled, the music, the music part of the song, the instrumentational part of the song. But yes, I tell people, that's what I've been doing lately with folks. I've been like, you know what? You should try to go apply for it and see what it tells you. Okay. Only because they're not going to listen to reason or logic. They're not going to listen to somebody telling them that. They're only going to see it by firsthand accounts.
Experience.
It's the same thing that I tell people about the border. I'm like, oh, what you need to do with the border, if you have a chance, go visit. I'm lucky, I guess, because I live in Arizona.
Right, go
So I decided to take a trip to the southern part of the state and actually go visit the border, all 6 border towns.
Because you want to experience
my own 2 working eyeballs, right? Like, it's kind of like what's happening in Minnesota, how you're having the government tell you one thing of what you saw, and then you're like, wait a second, that's not what my own 2 working eyeballs saw. Like, my eyes know that they fucking saw what they fucking saw, and you're trying to tell me that that's not what my fucking eyeballs saw. And, you know, like, I wear corrective lenses, so I know that I have 20/20 vision.
So you can
okay? I had my contacts in at the time that I watched the fucking video.
So it was crystal clear.
So I know that I know what I saw. Plus, I also have police officer friends who were like, that is not... My police officer friends, the blue guys, were like, that is not how police conduct business. That is not at all what they do. Okay? So getting back to my trip. Gotta give credit where credit's due. I decided to go, I was like, after my trip with the MAGA queens, I was like, I'm just gonna go, okay, maybe the whole island is like this, you know, and they're just like, maybe they like Donald Trump here. I don't know. Maybe he fucking visits here because maybe he hides his money here. I don't know. So I went to a local sports bar, and then I was like, oh, thank God. I met and hung out with Americans who are like us. They're like, no. We don't like fucking Orange Daddy either. We can't stand him. And then I got to meet and hang out with local Caymanian folks who were like, we fucking hate Donald Trump. The tariffs are bullshit. Like, we're feeling the effects of the tariffs here because they got to have everything sent into them. So everything comes from someplace else. Okay? Everything. So this one tour guide dude that I was talking to, he's like, they're so fucking stupid. Like, everything we have has to come in on a boat. We feel the effects of the tariffs, and these fucking morons are still... And I'm like, it's because they're in a cult. I don't know what else to tell you, you know?
Well, on that note, do you want to get one of our favorite friends on to speak more about these issues?
I would love to.
Okay. Well, 1 second, and we will get him on the phone. Jim, welcome back to the show.
Thanks. Great to be back. Good to see you guys. How are you?
We're here.
We're here.
We're here. You know, we're
I hear you.
living in America.
We're in Cayman.
Oh.
Hey, how's San Diego? How is it to be like somewhere where the people are sane?
It's really nice right now. As a matter of fact, I'm on the patio and it's probably 72 degrees. It's really nice. This is January 19th, I think. So I love where I live. I have to admit, it's the nicest place that I've ever been, and I happen to live here. So yeah, I'm doing okay in San Diego, but I'm looking forward to getting back to Cayman here real soon, and during some of those trials that you guys have been holding up to.
Yeah. So being in San Diego, do you notice, is the ICE presence there noticeable?
I've seen a couple ICE instances in my East County neighborhood. It's been a couple of weeks since, but it's not real prevalent here in San Diego. Not like in LA or in Chicago or Minnesota and Minneapolis, but they're here. I mean, we're the largest border city with Mexico, and the whole border is San Diego. So the ICE has a presence here, always has.
Yeah, and it's MLK Day. I really thought he would have started the Insurrection Act today. I thought it would just be petty enough of him to do that today.
Yeah, I think we're close. I do. You know, I really think of course the day would have been fitting Martin Luther King Day, but I think we're close. He's certainly flirting with that now that he's learned of this military, paramilitary group, not paramilitary, excuse me. It's an army a parachute group out of Alaska that specializes in cold warfare. He's dispatching those folks to Minnesota. So we've got some real issues that are happening real time, and he's doing these things and making news for sure.
Yeah. No.
Do you think he'll do it tomorrow since all the protests are planned? Do you think it's like, you know, like he'll have had enough or whatever, you know?
I don't know what drives the man, but he certainly has those breaking points where he just declares, you know, war and insurrection. And
I'm thinking like tomorrow might really hurt his feelings, you know? And it's like, it's almost like everything is going off of like what hurts his feelings at the, like, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm confused because I'm like, didn't they always used to say this about the left? Like, oh, does that hurt your snowflake feelings or whatnot? And I'm like, but it's like, it's almost like he crumbles under every...
He really sends that tell, doesn't he? His response to the Norway prime minister and about his hurt feelings over the snub on the Nobel Peace Prize, that's almost just graphic about how fragile of a man he is in the way you describe Snow. He just falls apart and got his feelings hurt that you made a fool of him after 8 wars plus, and that I think is the real reveal that shows his fragile masculinity and what's driving him to do this. For him to come out and say, I no longer feel like I have to concentrate on peace as the priority here. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I feel like it's that, but I also feel like it's still like the looming Epstein files. Like I really think we can't take focus off of that. Like ever since all the files have come out, and then he thinks that he can just start all these distractions to like take everyone's focus off of that. And I'm like, and like honestly, whenever they first started talking about the whole Epstein files thing, like it was more of an issue on the extreme like conspiracy right. But I'm like, wait a second, there's something there that's really like bothering him. So I'm like, we should kind of be like, yeah, we should kind of be like, no, you need to release the files, like, and pressure him all the time, release the files. Not that they haven't released the files, but, and they are coming out like every day, but I feel like they've been like overshadowed by like his childish outbursts, I guess we should call them. I don't know what else to call them.
I certainly can't disagree with that. You know, the Epstein files are a motivation to keep these distractions up, start wars, start conflicts, kidnap presidents, send in the army to Minneapolis, of all places. You can't reject what you see with your own eyes, right?
Exactly. That's what we were just talking about. I'm like, our eyeballs are not fucking broken, dude. Like, we can see.
I'm not lying to myself. When conservatives chime in on my posts and they're like, hey, you're letting your anger towards Trump drive your, decision making. Dude, can you not see with your eyes? What do your eyes tell you?
You're like, no, my eyes actually work. Like, they actually fucking work. Dude, are you, legally blind? Is that what I'm dealing with right now?
Now, on that point exactly, were you like me and did you watch that video several times as hard as it is to watch and be like, okay, let me try to see what they are saying here?
See their point of view.
Yeah.
There you go. Look at it through that lens. If I was a conservative watching Fox News and hoping my guy was, justified shooting, and, if I went into it with that attitude, what do I see? Oh, man, he's in trouble. That's what I see. That's the problem, is the evidence that comes before you that that you're going to show to a jury of normal people doesn't show what the administration is conveying, that they're saying he's this victim and he has internal bleeding and bullshit. Yeah, I mean, I've seen accidents in my life. I've seen people hit by cars. I've seen people hit by fucking airplanes, for God's sakes. I mean, that isn't what it looks like when somebody gets hurt. And he shot that woman because he was pissed, and she's dead, and the whole world's upside down, and we're not doing the justice thing anymore. They're just not going to investigate this. That's just another brick in the wall, man. I really think that they've really stacked it up against the American public in a way that it's super unpopular. People are not behind this anymore.
Yeah, to call her a fucking bitch after you killed her was like, I'm
you're
like,
holstering your
dude,
gun and you're cussing her out, man. Come on.
Well, because I watched the whole thing too, and I'm like, I watched it a few times, just like y'all said you did, to see, try to get some sort of clarification. And I was like, when I watched it, even the first time with the her wife, and her wife was sitting there saying, why don't you go get some lunch, big boy? And I was like, I go, oh no, oh no, that's part of the whole, I'm going to put
his ego.
I'm going to put the little lady in her place.
And that was literally,
I'm going to do that. That's what I'm going to do.
And
that was his mindset on that.
And that was literally the point in the video where you can see him switch hands holding the cell phone.
Yep. Yeah. He was ready to, if you're not going to comply with me, I'm going to kill you. So, if we've got people in uniform, bearing badges and guns and controlling our movements in the streets that have that attitude towards American freedoms and American constitutional rights, we're in that constitutional crisis that everybody's been warning against. We're that.
Well, on that point, I saw a picture yesterday of a guy holding an AR-15 outside his house and saying that he's protecting his neighbors. Now, whether he should do that, I think that's a questionable thing, whether he should do that. But isn't he, by the definition of the Second Amendment,
protected to do that?
Protected to do that, standing up, at their argument, not mine, you're standing up to a tyrannical government. That's textbook what he is doing in that photo.
And the whole militia thing.
Yeah.
Right? That goes along with the Second Amendment. So that's kind of I believe we had the question, how come the Second Amendment doesn't apply to liberals then, because you had like folks on the right making shitty posts about this gentleman.
Yeah. Like the people that want to stand up to the tyrannical government are now just like, well, just comply, do what they tell you to do.
It's so disgusting because I don't know anyone on the left who ever said that. I don't know anyone who ever said, we'll just do what they said.
Isn't it just us that are naive about this the whole time? To be honest with you, this whole time they've been stockpiling arms during the Obama years, telling us he's going to take away guns, and they're buying pallets of ammo and putting up, huge credit card debt on buying AR-15s. I mean, we knew these people were going to be this way. They weren't going to save America. They were going to be the ones that were the oppressors. They were always the overt racists, with their remarks and their type of leanings towards fascism. I mean, that was obvious, I think, for a very long time that the NRA crowd was going to lead the charge of tyranny. They were going to support it. They were going to be the ICE agents. I knew that. They don't want to hear that, but that's what you guys were primed for, right? The brown wave and all their racist type of rhetoric that they were gearing up for. Well, it was really just your white supremacy.
Well, look at that list that got doxed last week of, I think it was 4,500 ICE agents and their identities, and the amount of people that were pardoned on January 6th make up a large amount of those people.
Of course they do, because he probably had that in their stipulations when he pardoned them. He's probably like, all right, you're fucking joining ICE.
Most people are predisposed to that type of stuff anyway. They would leave their other job to go do that in a heartbeat. Oh, you get to beat up the people you hate every day? Yeah, that's their thing. They like that.
I asked a couple of people that I work with, I'm like, why don't you just go join ICE? I mean, I've heard your comments. I mean, wouldn't you better, don't you get that $50,000 bonus?
Don't tell them to read the fine print, though.
I know. That's what's the most hilarious part. And I'm like, and it's going to be so like Donald Trump to be like, even if they did make it, they're very close, like nose hair, fucking
to making the bonus,
the bonus of the 5 years, like the 4 months and like 4 years and 11 months, and it's gonna be so like him to be like, we no longer need ICE. We're like getting rid of it just so they don't have to pay the fucking bonuses, because we've already all seen this game, y'all. If you go visit the great state of New York and you listen to people in the bars talking about how awful Donald Trump is, how he ripped off their fathers who built his buildings, he ain't fucking gonna pay them. He's not gonna pay them. He's gonna find a way out of it.
Only Donald Trump would rip off his own stooges. You're right.
It's exactly right. It's like he's been doing this since the 80s.
But they wouldn't even get mad. They'd be like, yeah.
Celebrate him. Yeah.
It was an honor to work for him. It was an honor.
I wasn't used. I'm a patriot.
It's okay that I didn't get my $50,000 bonus. It's cool.
I heard the best name for him. It was Cosplatriot. Is what they're calling him.
Oh, I like the other one that's called Faketriots. Faketriots. That's a good one too. Faketriots.
We're not coming back from where we're at now. We're gonna see a change in America, and life's gonna be different for us. And all us people over 50 are gonna be nostalgic about life before Trump. We might still survive this and overcome his authoritarianism, but we're not going to ever go back to the way things are now, so to speak.
No, especially in the all of our allies' eyes, it's going to take so long to get the trust back.
Huge.
Oh my
Generations,
God.
man. That's never coming back. You know, I did a lot of work with Denmark. They were a customer of ours in foreign military sales for H-60 helicopters. They own 10 MH-60 Romeo aircraft at about $35 million a copy. And with that, they bought the support, the technical support that came with that, which was by Sustainment Engineering Group, the Cognizant Engineering Authority of the Navy. And so I, worked with Denmark on several occasions, with their engineers, with their senior officers. What a genuine group of good people and lifelong. They view us, America, as their allies and life partners through centuries. And the fact that we're doing this, I mean, I haven't spoken to any of them since. I've seen a couple of them chime in on my posts and stuff, my Dane friends. But I'm embarrassed by this. I've done NATO operations all over the world. I was in the Mediterranean for 18 months on NATO assignments. I know a lot of folks over there, and we're all on the same mindset about how our way of life and society and raising our families and democracy and all that stuff. That's a very mutual thing. And what's going on now with Trump's America is a whole different thing, and I'm ashamed of it. I'm alarmed by it. I don't know how we're ever going to make it up to our allies. So here we are.
Well, and the point that we need Greenland for strategic reasons, we already have a base there, correct?
Mhm.
Right, and they're our ally, and they'll help us defend Greenland in our interests. Yeah. So, that argument doesn't hold up to anybody that just understands logic. We already have a presence in Greenland. We have an agreement with the Danes and the Greenlanders. We're not really in conflict at all. Russia is not really, or China, or whatever, this threat that he's getting in front of. Like, the USA knows that they won't fuck with us. Silly. If Denmark is our friend and Greenland is our friend, they won't fuck with us either. How's that?
Yeah.
So, and most people see it that way, that we don't have to actually plant a flag on the hill in order to achieve that goal of national security. I've done national security my whole life, and this seems awkward. Seems weird. I don't know. This is weird foreign to me.
So, speaking of that, say if we violate the NATO terms and go into Greenland, what does that do for national security? Because wouldn't all the NATO alliance just kick our bases from all those countries out?
I think that's the goal. It really is. He's doing this. He talked about the Epstein distraction, and now the other element of that you just laid out, which is let's dissolve NATO. Let's give a gift to Russia's Vladimir Putin. Allow him luxury to just sweep through Ukraine and Eastern Europe. We're going to concentrate on our hemisphere, and you guys worry about your hemisphere. So this globalist kind of transition is going to be hard for a lot of humans.
So you're telling me that he's just doing this to get out of NATO, to get rid of NATO?
Not. I'm telling you he is doing that, in fact, but I'm not telling just for that.
Okay.
He's also doing it
okay.
for other reasons too.
Yeah.
And one of them is the one Michael already talked about. The other one is the one I mentioned about undermining NATO and just ruining that. And the other one is domestic. It's control of our military. It's the shunning of Congress. It's a reason to justify canceling of elections. All of these things, it's a multifaceted coup, just like January 6th was.
Well, and it's also a vanity project because he wants Greenland, he wants Venezuela, so the territory of the United States appears larger.
Well, definitely. He wants to control the North American, South American hemispheres. And he is willing to, and has discussed, I think, with Vladimir Putin, that potential where he controls his hemisphere, which is Europe and, and Eastern Asia. And then China is going to control Japan, Korea, Indonesia,
Right.
possibly Australia.
There's been the talks about, like, that's what Trump, President Xi and Vladimir Putin are all trying to do, like, that they're trying to take it back to, like, the three superpowers that ruled the world. Is that a thing that, is that what you think they're doing?
All of their interests. I certainly wouldn't disagree with all of them welcoming that. So, it has so many fissures for failure, though. That's the problem. Is it ends in war, it ends in famine, it ends in death and destruction. There's no, the rich will never realize the suffering of the poor, but it ends poorly for most humans. That's definitely something, and they don't care about that. They want the control, power.
I think we lost him. Is it cutting out?
Economic influence that it has.
We lost it there for a second, Jim. What were we saying there?
I'm sorry. I think the other motive that we're not really focused on is the global economic impact of all of this, of this strife. And Trump is notorious for his tariffs and controlling markets, and himself and his family enriching themselves and capitalizing on it. And I think one of those things, which is extremely alarming for myself, my family, my future and investments, is undermining the dollar. And he's certainly doing that. He's wrecking these relationships. He's ruining the value of the dollar internationally as the standard. And if he achieves that, which I think is actually intended, it's a goal, is to replace the American dollar with his currency, his own form of currency. And people like me who have worked their whole life, Sonia and I, and saved and invested and have pensions, and all of it's in American dollars, we stand to lose everything. We're at the point of retirement now. We're in our late 50s, early 60s, and we have these big pensions with, we each have over 37 years with the federal government, and we stand to lose all the value of our money, of our savings, of the value of the money we get paid in our pensions. If he wrecks the dollar, he wrecks everything. He resets the American economy.
No.
And then
like Fight Club, but
what would that? So what would it do if that? Okay, because maybe we need to know this to wake some people the fuck up. What exactly will that do if it wrecks our entire dollar? And then
it's your buying power. It's the value of the money you have and you make. You get paid in dollars. All your investments and savings are in dollars. If the value, and this has happened in other countries, Snow, you got to look at Mexico or Turkey, where they just said, hey, look, we're so fucking broke. We're so corrupt. We're so we don't know where all the money is. There's no national, holdings. So we're going to change the value of your currency. So if you got $1 million in the bank, tomorrow morning, that $1 million is worth 300,000. That's what happens when they just reset the value of a currency. And you still have 1 million of them, but they only have the buying power of 300,000. I remember when I went to Turkey the first time in the 1990s in the Navy, and the money, you'd go in and hand a couple $100 to the dispersing officer, and you'd get the local money, which was Turkish lira. And these bills were ridiculously fantastic, and they had two commas in them. You had $1 million million lira bills. And it was silly money. You know, you buy a hot dog and you hand somebody 200,000 lira. And it was, because their system was so dissolved, so broke. That's what happens to the American dollar. That's the threat that we face as Americans, as aging adults, all of us here talking in our advanced years, is when you get older, all of a sudden your money's worth nothing. It doesn't matter that you saved it or that you made a whole bunch of it. He has that threat to ruin our economy to that level.
So, Republicans, are you hearing this right now? Like, what?
They should.
What
they
the
really
fuck? Because
will
you
affect
have
everybody.
American dollars, you fucking morons. Like,
The only people that survive this are the absurdly rich. The people that are in the 1% club. Really. Because people in the 5% club, we're not going to get through this. Your money's going to be wrecked.
And there's not even a way for us folks who have saved and saved and saved to convert our dollars into other dollars that are worth more. There's no way.
I don't know enough to lecture about that, but there are. You can buy other currencies. You can get euros. You can buy yen. Other economies that will become more stable. And the best advice I can give you on that, Snow, is let's follow the really rich people. Let's do what they do. If you've got a little nest egg and all the super billionaires are buying euros and stuff, you should buy euros.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what are you guys buying? Like, what kind of currency are they even buying? Honestly, like, I don't know what they're buying, right?
I'll say this. I'm most invested, heavily invested in the federal employee thrift savings plan. That's my 401k. I was a federal employee for 37 years.
Right.
And so most of my savings, all my money is in that, my personal retirement savings. And of all the funds that I'm involved in, the one that made the most, there's only 5. The one that made the most was the international stocks. And this year, it finished up at 32%. In all my life and all my time investing, I've never seen a fund finish like that. And I was thankfully heavily invested in the international fund because I saw this coming. And I saw what Trump was going to do and how American stocks, which are still thriving, our stock market's doing fine, but the international stocks in the federal employee 401k made 32% this year. And that's a sign. That's a ridiculous sign that America is losing to international companies, in my view.
Well, yeah, of course, because who wants to invest in American companies anymore? Or tourism,
So then, that being said, what should people put their money in? Just to help, our American friends.
No, we don't even know, even for other investments. What do you do? So we're all in this pickle together. Donald Trump is threatening everybody. He just knows that the ultra wealthy will survive the blows. Even if they lose, they'll survive that. And that's really the whole, I think, end game is the autocracy, the oligarchy, the kleptocracy. It's about the super wealthy just do whatever the hell they want, whether it be raping children or cheating on taxes, or that's what they want. So we're fighting that right now collectively, globally. America drug everybody else into this fight, but that's where we're at.
Yeah. Did you hear the report that Ukraine sent fake intelligence about Russia just to see if we would leak it to Russia? And we did.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's
scary.
Donald Trump has a daily, if not like, multi-weekly conversation with Vladimir Putin directly, and dismisses everybody else out of the room, makes it not a recorded call. I mean, no president's ever done anything like that. Hold on, I'm going to take this call from another world leader. Everybody needs to, step out and shut off the recording devices because we're going to do some crime. That's literally what's happening every day in the White House. And it doesn't surprise me that Russia's smiling hard. Vladimir Putin is all smiles about what we're doing with NATO right now with Greenland.
God,
So
heavy.
we're 1 year into this.
Is that all?
Yeah, it feels
It
like
feels
10.
like a decade.
It feels like it's been about 3 years since we've talked to you. How spot on were you in your predictions? Are you right? Are you right where you thought you are, or has he eclipsed it? Has it been even worse than what you predicted?
I mean, I knew he would do all these things, but he's on an accelerated route. He's ahead of schedule. And from a lot of the experts and analysis I've watched and read from all the different New York Times, Washington Post, and experts that write books on this and have PhDs in this subject of tyranny and fascism. Those people all are saying he is turbo here, and it has some disadvantages for his opportunity of success. They're modeling this after what Viktor Orban did in Hungary, and over the course of 10 years, he achieved these goals, these autocratic goals. Whereas Donald Trump has done those things in the first year. And the public, the American public, is not the whole frog in the water type of comparison. We're not warming up to that. People are rejecting it. People are turning out in mass protest, and all this stuff is happening. So Donald Trump's dilemma is he has these ghosts in his closet between Jeffrey Epstein files, and he's got this timeline. He's got to get out in front of the midterm elections, or all this is ruined. Those things are really driving him to push harder than the normal human type of acquisition of public consent. That's what he's fucking up.
Do you think it's actually him, though, because he's really diminished at this point? Or is it his?
He does it solely, I think. I mean, he gets on the internet and puts out these tweets, and whether they're written by Stephen Miller or whatever, but he knows he doesn't recall them, he doesn't reject them. So he's driving this. His spontaneity at 3 a.m, he sends out something that he's going to take over Greenland or some crazy bullshit.
Uh-huh.
That definitely comes from him, because everybody around him is always like, whoa, shit, we're doing that now? You can tell, even the cabinet members, they're like, whoa, we didn't even talk about this. The look on their faces, it's revealing.
Yeah, and as creepy as Stephen Miller is, I agree, because people keep saying that he's running everything behind him, and I'm like, I think you guys are giving him too much credit. He is disgusting. He is a disgusting human, but I don't think that he's any sort of evil genius. I just don't see it.
Well, he definitely has an influence on Trump, though. He has Trump's ear.
Oh, yeah.
And Trump will adopt his ideas whenever he says this crazy shit, and we should do this, sir, and he doesn't.
Yeah, I totally believe that part. I totally believe that part, but I don't think that he's I just don't believe that he's I don't think he's on the level. I don't think he's
the puppet master,
able to be Hitler, the second coming of
That's
Hitler.
That's why it's failing. They're fools. They're idiots. I mean, they are evil, and they're accomplishing some of their agenda. But you're right there, Snow, is that's their shortcoming, is they're not that smart. They're not that good at this. They don't even, most of these guys don't even have what law degrees. They don't even understand the Constitution at a deep level, or government, or, they're people that have a political opinion and are really animated. That's what they are.
So true. Like, him being, like, Stephen Miller going on news the other day and, like, cussing back to Jake Tapper and whatnot, and I'm like, you are, like, so out of your element. Like, I think that's what did it for me, to be like, I don't think you're, like, I'm not saying that there's not other people also behind the scenes, but, like, I think that Stephen Miller is, like, kind of a distraction, and I think we need to look for deeper sources.
The money is really the source. The Peter Thiel, the Elon Musk. Yeah. And, I mean, you can have these Nazi figures like,
like Stephen Miller.
yeah. But they're just these little figureheads. And, but the real people pulling the strings and financing this and recruiting people and building them up. And those are guys like Peter Thiel. I mean, his protege of J.D. Vance is now the vice president. If it tells you how successful that's been, there you are, right?
And that's kind of gross to think about that, because, like, J.D. Vance is almost, like, to me, like, on the same level as a Stephen Miller. I mean, I believe that J.D. Vance is an idiot. He's like a yes buff, exactly what like South Park describes it. Yes, both. Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, both. Yes. Like, he's one of those. Like, it's
total sycophant. Yeah. He's on his sleeve.
I don't know why. Well, I mean, I realize that our side has, like, zero power right now until at least the 2026 elections, if those happen. But, like, there's got to be smarter people out there to outsmart these fucking morons that are just ruining our country. It's just, god damn.
Yeah, I mean,
god damn.
You hear all the criticism, like Snow and I are out there doing the protests when we can, and they say, well, look at these liberals, they hate America. And that's the opposite. We love America. We love the United States. And we want it to be what it's supposed to be for everyone, and not the 1%. And
loud and clear, Mike. I mean, you guys exemplify that. I think you go out of your way to show that you're committed to that. And for me, that's for Sonia and I, that's our cause too. I mean, we both spent our entire life in the Navy, and if you don't think that we get propagandized within the military about, like, hey, you're doing a great job, we're saving freedom, and I mean, of course we do that. We tell that to ourselves in every type of support and keep you going, keep you motivated about what you do, that even when times are tough and Congress is shutting down the government and stuff, I mean, civil service has got to try to keep, and the active duty people as well, the Pentagon in a whole, has to keep its workforce feeling like they're on the right side of this shit. And that's something that's really suffering right now, is it's hard to communicate a message that the U.S. military is doing the right thing when we're killing people on boats in international waters in Venezuela, and when we're threatening to invade NATO members. So this is having a humongous toll on the morale, the ability to keep people. There's resignations. I retired, for Christ's sake. I wouldn't have retired if Donald Trump didn't come back to power. I took that Doge deal and retired. So this is happening across the board. And that's a real telling sign about the hollowing out of our government.
But what about the military members who are just going along with this? Because like Venezuela was a point where I was just like, why are they blowing up these boats, as you say? You know, where's the pushback? Where's the person going, no, I am not going to do that? Or say if they do go into Minnesota, where's the people that say, no, I am not going to actively go against my fellow Americans?
Well, they've made sure that they've distilled that group down. That's why they're using special forces. When I did those drug intervention operations in South America, I did them both the Gulf side and in the Pacific Ocean side, multiple times in the Navy over years. And I was there. We arrested drug guys. We shot the engines off their boats. We seized their cocaine. We chained them and had them in the hangar where I worked on. So I'm really familiar with how this is, supposed to go. And this is new. And I knew this would happen. I knew this was the most vulnerable avenue for Trump to take when he got elected, when he promised he was going to crack down on this kind of stuff. I knew he was going to start, doing lethal strikes on these boats. And it's not necessary. They're usually just these low-level slobs, and they work for the big drug boss, or sometimes their families have been kidnapped, and if they don't deliver these drugs, they borrow some money or something. It's a really horrible thing. We don't have to kill these people. The people driving those boats or hauling those drugs, they're really not the people that are the drug people. So the fact that he did this was to instigate a national outcry, international outcry. And then he achieved it. And then he sent the special forces in the seas. So he's been using a specific military avenue, which is to spec warrant people, which are primed to just, they'll do this stuff. Yes, sir, go blow some shit up and kill people. That's what those folks do. But the regular Navy, the regular Coast Guard that used to handle these operations, notice how they haven't been involved? You don't know the name of any of the ships that were involved in these, 120 deaths and 30 boats killed and all that stuff. There isn't the name of the USS whatever. Well, normally ships would be the only, but this is all special warfare drone attacks. That's what this is.
Wow.
Right.
They're just killing people from the sky.
And what charge quit? The fact that the 4-star Admiral, God, what can I say his name right now? Give me a minute. But a friend of mine, and actually the most senior H-60 pilot there ever was, that named 4 stars. He's the only one. He resigned over this. That's the guy that quit and left the Southern Command 4-star job.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is a big deal when the people that are in those positions are like, I'm not going to be responsible for killing these folks. We can't ignore this. We can't look away from the warning signs of the people that did 35 years in the Navy and really meant it. They were committed to it. And now this new president is telling them to kill people, and they're unwilling to.
I mean, that's a tough position to be in, though, because, resigning from that position, I realize why you would want to, but God, I don't know.
You're giving up a star. You're giving up 3 years of your retirement. You're giving up all that stuff. You're reducing your income for the rest of your life.
Like Mark Kelly.
$1,000 a month. It's really that big of a deal.
So my question is, what's going to step up into that place, though? Like, then what steps up?
The special warfare guy that was doing the hits for him. The 3-star SEAL admiral that was actually doing those strikes is now in that job.
So then like what steps up into that position is another like Trump sycophant?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
when he first got
hired, he fired all of the black and the female senior leadership within the DoD, all of them. I knew several of them. And he just outright fired them without cause and appointed people that are more to his liking. So, yes, to answer your question, that's exactly what he's done.
Well, and
he didn't make that a secret.
And like you said, they're only going after the low-level people because the high-level people he pardons.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's kind of strange? This is kind of like one of my conspiracy theories, was Maduro was in on this. And notice how you haven't heard anything about Maduro other than when he got arraigned. And that's the last time you saw him.
Yes.
It is kind of strange, right?
Yeah. But I think it was a deal. I think he made a deal and said, all right, I'm going to give it up. Come get me. Pretend to beat me up. I'll show up at the arraignment and then send me off somewhere and give me a cut of that oil money. I mean, that's just my hypothetical theory on it, but we haven't seen the guy since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where we get off, guys.
Yeah.
I don't
all
know.
right. So we'll say this.
We can only conspiracy about it.
Yeah. What are we going to have a midterm?
I mean, we're going to have a very troubled midterm. States are going to hold elections. I live in California. We're going to have an election here. It doesn't even involve the president or the vice president of the United States, but we're going to hold an election for our members of Congress and so on, and senators that are due. And most states are going to recognize them, but I fear that many states, the red states that are in alliance with the Trump administration, are going to follow his model of saying, let's not even, let's make a big mess of it. Let's not have it at all, whatever they want to do, to try to really make the national election not count. I'm not sure I haven't really had enough time to think about how that's going to play out, because California does ours. It's about congressmen and senators. We don't have to ask you other states how you feel about it, right? So, and so on. So all these other states have the same luxury where they can just be like, well, we had an election just because Alabama didn't or Arizona doesn't matter. But how's Trump going to recognize Congress? He's not going to at all accept that those elections were legit if they didn't go the way he wanted. So, and here's the other thing. Here's the thing that really sticks out the most to me about are we going to have a 2026 election is if Trump loses, meaning there's a big sweep, a big blue wave, he can't allow that. If his unpopularity domestically is shown as like a 60-40, 70-30 kind of just enormous rejection of his administration that will destroy him, not just here at home, but internationally, that he doesn't have the support of the American people. So that is why I think there's going to have to be a significant major event to stop these elections, even in California, from happening, just because if everybody knows how much everybody hates him, that'll ruin him.
Oh, wow.
The Insurrection Act.
Yeah,
it's coming. It is. And I don't know what. I hope there's a point where somebody steps in and says, "No, Mr. President, we're not going to do that."
Hopefully,
there's got to be even if it's an unsuspecting person that you never even heard of, somebody's going to have to be that hero.
Well, on that note, if it gets really bad and, we go back to like the Underground Railroad, can you smuggle snow and ice to San Diego?
You guys are easy. You guys are cheap. You guys are white. Mexicans, I'm pretty double, but yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, on that note, we'll wrap this up. Thank you for joining us. And you are like our go-to what do we say, expert on these things. Always
I
just great
know.
analysis on everything. And
Thank you for that.
we wish it was more hopeful.
And you always at least make us feel a little bit better because then we at least understand things and how they might play out. Like,
Yeah.
Well, we gotta
even though it's not great
strategize.
news, but
We gotta plan around that reality. That's what we have to do. So that's our
Right.
best hope.
yeah.
All right, well, Jim, stay on the phone. We're going to wrap this episode up. So, Snow, good to have you back.
Thank you, I guess.
Okay. And any final thoughts on football? I cut you off earlier.
Oh, I already have thought that the Seahawks will probably win the Super Bowl. That's been my 2 cents for a few weeks now.
Not if my New England gets in there. We took care of
It's
them
like,
once.
I don't want the Seahawks to win, but
Oh, we lost Jim.
that I think that might happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well, on that note, we'll wrap it up.
Hey, bye y'all.
Bye, y'all.